And do you think that's part of it when you get into this kind of environment? You're just feeling a little bit more shaky?
Yeah, I think it's definitely part of it. We'll see how they do on the stage. Everything changes up there. But for me, they've got too many similar players. Like, everyone's been talking about these great rails that they have, and every one of their players has incredible rail, but it too similar. Like, they haven't got that diversity, haven't got that TDM background, the control, the rockets, etc. So it just doesn't merge well into a team.
Yeah, and I've been hearing as well that Kilson, although he's an amazing dueler and he has played team games in the past, still his communication takes a little bit of time to get in there. But when he's on form, then he is a high fragging master in the team. He can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, his combat skill's sick. But again, if you're not communicating with a team, you're running off and you're killing people on your own in places that doesn't matter, it's almost irrelevant what you're doing.
Yeah.
So it needs to be coordinated.
Now, when you compare that though with Notofast, you see these massive names within the scene, and you compare it to a team like 2Z, which I think a lot of people right now are saying, okay, which team is better? These guys are the legendary names. These guys you expect to have sort of methodical approaches to everything they're doing within a team game. Do you think that's going to be reflected well in the matches that we're going to see, or do you think it's always going to be invisible behind the organized chaos that they're crushing in this 2-0 prediction of ours?
I think their background, you'll be able to see coming through now a new level of that organization. Today, we've seen some great matches, 2Z last time, another 2-0, but their outright aggression makes it seem like it's a bit chaotic, even though for them it's very organized. But I think it's far more methodical looking when I've seen Notofast, which is probably the worst name in the tournament, play. It is a lot more methodical, and you can see their roles standing out a lot more. Like Tox and Sturmy obviously have a very, very different role to play than Noctis and Faz, and that does shine through.
It was a team that I was expecting to see all four of them qualify in the duel as well. Yeah, Sturmy and Tox going out early on. I know that Sturmy, busy guy, and he really focused so much on the sacrifice, but it looks like we are getting into game right now. Euronics Gaming versus Notofast in this first map in the Quake World Championship EU qualifier.
Scale Bearer, that's a new one.
I like it.
I love his Scale Bearer.
Yeah, give me some more of that. We were hoping to see a lot more of that in the duel, but getting that in the sacrifice can be really useful, actually, to try and control the soul early on, and also to run with the soul once you've done attacking. So we are going to be having Notofast getting the first point on this side of the map, and Faz on the Sorlag, holding the defense. And at the 2-minute mark is when you're going to be seeing the power-up, so they're going to hope to set up to that point. I'm interested to see just how much strength we're going to be getting from Euronics Gaming. That passes the soul quickly, trying to get out of there. And that's what he's trying to do with the bull rush. He throws a soul because you can't use your ability when you have it instead. So he throws it in front of him, uses the bull rush, walks through the soul, and carries it as close to his base as possible.
Yeah, and it does take a lot of concentration and to pull that off effectively. I've messed it up many times. Charging past the soul or something like that.
That's a really nice throw there by Abso over the map and managing to actually get themselves their first bit of percentage on the obelisk. Now, can they deal with the aggression that is coming out from Notofast? Actually, they did a really good job just then.
They did, and I think it's definitely in their interest to try and make the map as chaotic as possible to force Notofast to come out of their roles and position.
And a bit of attack. Faz there manages to get the soul off, but can they walk it away? Nyx there just sneaking on by, trying to go through the lower areas. And in about 20 seconds, we are going to be having the power up. And it looks like Faz, he wants to set up in this room and just hold ground and make sure that Euronics Gaming aren't able to do the same. But he's losing so much health. Finally gets rid of them, but 20 HP.
But yeah, they seem to have solid control of the room, so that's where you can see the coordination coming through. They came in, picked up the heavy, which has probably been timed.
Oh, whoa.
But it's been stolen.
I think Euronics Gaming just managed to claw away with that protection just then. And, oh no, my bad. It was actually Sturmy getting hold of that, and he's going to be accompanying the Anarchy comfortably and getting us up that percentage. They were down for just a moment, but not for long.
And now you can see this is the methodical play we're talking about. Everyone's got their set positions in different corners of the room, and it's going to make the life of Euronics Gaming hell to try and get in and break this.
Yeah, just holding a little bit of the higher ground now supporting the teammates around the outskirts and clearing it away. And while you've got that protection up, it makes it so much easier to defend and really highlights the importance of controlling those power-ups.
And this is something I spoke about on the panel with reference to Miasma. This map, you can lock down. I mean, proven in the name, actually. You can lock down the rooms. But you can play a very TDM-oriented style with this control factor. And just look how hard it is, they can't get in. And this is slightly more of the chaos we see coming from Euronics Gaming in that they're not having particularly coordinated attacks.
I'm loving that slash movement. And while there's so much time till the power-up spawn, which is one of the tools that Euronics Gaming could use to leverage their attack to get the soul back, it's just full-on defense focus from Notofast.
Yeah,
and they're just going to lock them out.
Job. Yeah, absolutely perfect.
See a few rails from Absa there. He is going to be with Blaskovitz, looking to get some damage down. Can he pick up the soul and throw it away? Not quite going to be able to make it. Tox taking down a whole bunch. All right, Phoenix, and is he going to try and throw it again? He's actually got a really nice stack with Scale Bearer, and they're looking for a way. Okay, what part of the map are the enemies on? Here comes the Bull Rush. Oh, he's just walking into a whole load of enemies, and he hasn't got the Bull Rush to go far enough to get the damage going. And he can't quite get a kill, so he's going to go down. And that's okay. Absol's managed to pick it up. This isn't so bad, but look at the attack. Look at the coordination from Notofast.
That defense was awesome because Phoenix tried to assess this situation, but Notofast realized that and all pushed back into a much deeper defensive position rather than all rushing in and dying one by one.
I think we have got it in the middle of the map. We have got the Salt. Has just been grabbed by Phoenix using the end of the quad to get a bit of damage going. Mastermind. Finally, can get a few more percentage points going. Not make it too easy for Notofast, and this is it where they need to coordinate themselves. Again, they've got the opportunity, now that the power-ups have not up for a while, they've got to have a strong defense. Rockets, I think there's Slash just running onto the point. Fantastic aim we're getting from Mastermind, but the pressure that is on them, I don't think they're going to be able to hold it that very long.
They came in 2s and 3s, again from different angles, which just shows a slightly higher level of coordination than we saw from the previous attacks by Euronics Gaming. And it was just stripped back very, very simply in the end of the day.
That's a very, very easy run for Noctis in the end. Didn't run into any enemies whatsoever. He was very low. Oh, he's going to get pummeled like Hilson. They actually wiped the team just then. And if he's weak, he's not actually going to throw the soul at all, even though he could probably have boosted his health up a bit with the injection. Did he just miss him? I think he missed the soul. Oh, the detour. Need to take a detour, but running into the plasma trail at the same time. Abso, he's going to get hurt by the acid bit. He wanted to throw it up, and instead Noctis is going to run. He's going to run past their point, and he's going to go back. And, oh, brilliant rocket jump. Oh, no! Kilson is right in the way with the pummel. And Noctis just fed that to him, and this is going to allow Kilson to bring it back to base. He's only got 12 health. He's got a teammate next to him going, you can pass it if you need to. We got it safe.
He wants that XP.
That was a perfect pummel placement from Kilson, just locking down that choke point. We have got the next power-up up. This is going to be the quad damage. And that is going to be Phoenix getting it. So this is nice for Euronics Gaming.
Yeah, I mean, Notofast set up extremely well for all these power-ups, but it's a very delayed attack by Euronics Gaming, and I don't know how deliberate it is. I think it is a tactic because they're coming in after it's spawned and clearing up the mess.
Quad bull rush, not going to find it in the right direction. But he will turn around and pick up an easy kill, slow down that run. Noctis is going to grab it instead, but there are a lot of Euronics Gaming players right in front of him. He's trying to get his teammates to support him in this fight. They're so weak at the moment to the damage that's being done. I think we just had dual-wield pummel from Blaskovitz as well.
Pain coming out.
That's a lot of damage that happens, guys. That's 150 damage. Most champions aren't going to be able to withstand that without like additional stat going.
You can see this coordination coming. There are 3 of them there, 4 of them now.
Got to say that Euronics Gaming are actually putting up a very good fight against one of the tournament favorites.
That plasma trail on this map is a pain in the ass.
Well, that was a nice clear of the team just then. Oh, I think Mastermind running into an opponent, but it's only a Nyx, not much health. Can just run past comfortably, especially when you got your teammates supporting him.
Beard power.
Gives extra percentage points to damage, or something like that. I don't know. Okay, I think there was almost a self-kill just... Oh no, they killed each other. Just got him in time. But look at that, Euronics Gaming have now got more percentage points on their obelisk than Notofast. Yeah. Is that something you had expected?
No. That's why I said easy 2-0.
Okay, I like that. I'm happy that we can get these sort of surprises going. But you know what? One thing is having more percentage. The next thing is actually getting to that 100% and forcing those players away. They are coordinating themselves excellently at the moment, trying to get himself the die roll frag. Won't quite make it, and that is a team wipe for Euronics Gaming.
What you say is 100% right. There has been multiple times I have lost from going up to 99%. All it takes is one great coordinated defense, and you will lose.
Yeah. Completely, and there we are. They have managed to throw it back, but only 12% remaining for Euronics Gaming. Notofast needing to catch up a bit and to block these attacks. What Euronics Gaming need to do at the moment is they need to attack as 3 or 4.
So
really lock things down.
Protection there.
That protection, the power-up is going to be completely worn out in a moment. So at the moment, it's just going to be
yeah, protection's probably, well, it's a lot more effective than the quad. So it was ideal to get at that point in time.
Did they just get the point? Oh, they just got taken down on that. There's only over 90% at the moment for Notofast.
Unnoticed, doing significant damage.
Oh, what a read! But they have to attack now. They have to just get themselves on that point. We're seeing a great lockdown of the obelisk at 99%, and they've just made it. Euronics Gaming, phenomenal effort, but it is going to be Notofast sneaking by with that. I think though that. I don't know if concern is something that I'd have as I was Notofast, but realize that that wasn't as easy as we perhaps expected it.
Yeah, no, 100%. Just at the end, it was a little bit chaotic, and I think Euronics Gaming forgot about the power-up because it was a very easy take by Notofast, and that's what won them the game. But this is Notofast's pick, and as you say, it was a struggle against perhaps one of the weakest teams in the competition, so I would definitely be concerned in their shoes.
Okay, well, we're on Noctis at the moment. In about 3 seconds' time, we're going to be getting that soul appearing. And that is going to be Sturmy picking up comfortably, but Phoenix rushing in with the bull rush.
Sacrificed his life for the team.
He was a little bit delayed, though. He needed to get there earlier. They'd already thrown away the soul, and Noctis was able to get back to base very, very easily and picking up that percentage immediately. Nail gun. Oh, well, it's doing work if you combine it with a shotgun, a Sturmy, and a rocket stocks.
Now they're all full. They've all got weapons. This is where Euronics Gaming needs to reset and try and attack this good.
He's hitting a sweet nothing.
Yeah, interesting. Zoom nail gun.
It doesn't matter. You just, it's almost like spray and pray at some point. But he is eventually going to dispatch them, and they haven't managed to get that soul yet.
And this is where you can see the rolls coming in. We've got Toxin Sturmy pushing out with a hit scan in the mid, and Noctis and Faz playing that defensive TDM role.
And taking that sort of very light champion, Anarchy, and keeping it in base, because it's too easy to die if you're up the front of all the madness. And what a rocket!
You can zip around the base, hiding yourself extremely well. It's a very, very powerful tactic. I don't think I saw the guy on point. You did? But it doesn't matter.
Just for a moment, though, a very brief second, and then immediately it goes back. We're almost at 50%, and Euronics Gaming, they touched that soul. That was the first time they had done it that game, but it went nowhere.
What do you do as Euronics Gaming now when you have probably the two best aimers in the world in Toxin and Sturmy standing in mid, stacked, railing you down? Power
up is up in just a few seconds. They have to make that work for them. At this point, I would stop attacking the point, and I would just get as many men as possible over to the power up. Here they are. There's Nyx going to be on there. That's going to be a pain. He throws them up. Kills them.
What timing.
And I think that's the trump card right there with the dire orb.
And it's the protection.
So here it is. He's going to say, okay, Faz didn't even know that he was there. We're going to have to get some rocket jumps out. And finally, 69% taken from Notofast. Kilson's going to have to get himself to the other side.
Yeah, and what Notofast did is they used Sturmy on the Nyx to try and sneak the power up without committing anyone else. And when it failed, then the whole tactic fell apart, essentially.
They only just made it there, actually. Even with the protection, there was so much attack. There was this Sorlag just standing in the way right in front of the point, and they only could barely make it. But that's going to be a relief for Euronics Gaming not to get 100-0'd. Yeah. And they can start getting something from this point. But again, they got 13%. Soul is taken by Sturmy. He's got 15 health left. He throws it away, and to try and get it as far away from their base as possible. Okay, brilliant movement. Let's see how much further he can get it. Oh, Noctis has passed it over to a teammate, but there's 4 of them right in front of him, and that is the nightmare you don't want to see.
Oh, the telefrag.
Again, Kilson. These are really important moves by him, actually, but can he get away? He can see almost enemies every direction that he faces, which is in the direction of his base.
We have a bull rush.
I thought he was going to bounce pad it there somehow. Oh, no, he manages to hit him. That would have done about 150 damage, but that wasn't enough to take down the slash.
Yeah, Tox just stood there like a man.
Yeah.
Come at me, bro.
And Faz, did he just get onto the point? I think he may have just made it.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's quite big actually, because it buys you more time to get back.
Yeah, it's just going to take that 3 seconds to begin with. They're seeing a lot of frags at the moment though for Euronics Gaming. Kelson. All right, hasn't taken any damage. He's got Sorlag to deal with, and maybe even Nailgun up behind him to get closer to the point, but he's not gone with that. Oh, the pummel! He saw him coming towards him and is like, this is too close. What can I do? It's panic stations there.
And the battle, the protection is now up.
And it's for Mastermind, which is really important.
This is perfect, yeah. This is exactly what they need.
At the moment, move. He's giving it to a teammate. They should pass it back to him, I think.
They should, but Gilson doesn't want to.
Is that like a distraction technique? I think they might have overthought this a bit.
It's more the fact that because he has the protection, he can push out and defend.
Okay.
So he doesn't need to run back with it. He can use that in a far more offensive to zone out enemies.
It worked out very nicely for them just then. And Mastermind, well, he's lost that protection now, but he's got a bit of a stack, even for Anarchy. And he's got to try and keep these Notofast players at bay. Pressure is just mounting constantly. And I think we're over the 20% mark, though, at least for Euronics.
It's a long way back, but as we saw in the previous round, all it takes is a really solid defense, which is tough, but always doable.
So there's a lot of attack from the higher ground. Faz is coming in. He's got Sorlag so much stack. He's picked up the soul. He's got a player up at the top who can quickly escape. There is the bull rush in front.
You saw the basic attack tactic there. We had 3 Notofast at the top in the obviously more offensive position, and then Faz coming in, stealing the orb and chucking it back up.
That was a good defense from the mid on this occasion. They respawned and managed to collect the weapons, well, as many as they needed, and got rid of that attack that was moving out with the soul to drive back to the base.
Great scenery.
I do know, it's a pretty map.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
We just saw Noctis fly by as well.
Thank you, yeah. That was good timing.
And he's pretty weak, but you know what, when you've got the speed of Anarchy, then sometimes it doesn't matter how much health you've got. We've got to have another attack, because we're on 83%.
Yeah, this is last chance saloon for Euronics Gaming. You must be feeling a little bit annoyed at the first round. It was in their hand.
It absolutely was, and it's like they managed to wipe the whole team. Then just a handful of seconds later, they had just a spectacular attack from Notofast. It's quad.
He's got away with the quad.
Oh dear. Rip.
They're chasing the quad, but they need to get the soul.
They need to get to the point. Screw the quad at this point. Get yourself. And then they haven't got it. They're focusing on the power-up so much.
Yeah.
Like, you're on 95%. You've got to attack it. Map 1 goes to Notofast.
Damn it, boys. You're so close.
That was a good effort from them. It was Notofast's pick.
Exactly.
So I wouldn't feel too deflated from that.
No, I mean, and as we saw, when they got into their position, when they had that solid ground, we saw how powerful they can be as a team. And this is why they take map after map in practice, because of how organized they can be. But at the same time, if you can cause that chaos, then every team is vulnerable. And that should give you hope.
What was really cool, though, on Euronics Gaming's team is that actually it was, I believe it was Phoenix top fragging for them with Scalebearer.
Yeah, and
Scalebearer getting a highlight right there for their side.
I'm so excited they picked that again. It wasn't as effective. I can see the theory crafting, and obviously throw it, bull rush away, you're pretty much invincible. But outside of that, I just felt it very limited compared to a Sorlag, for instance, which is quick around the map, better dodging, has a zoning ability. There were a few cool ball rushes. One of the impressive things I think watching Phoenix was you could see his CTF mind at work when he took that soul. A player like me would have just rushed into mid and died, but you can see him weighing up the situation, staying there for a few seconds, just thinking which is the best route, getting feedback from his team.
He's waiting for his teammates. He's like, guys, I've got the soul.
Where should I go?
You give me the ideas of where to go.
Those little things that can win you games. Unfortunately, it didn't today.
Yeah.
But it can be. Oh, look at Sturmy. He's beautiful.
So the question is really, Sturmy or Hal? Who's got better hair?
Definitely Sturmy.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Well,
are you a Hal fanboy?
A little bit, yeah. I think he's growing in. His hair's really coming a long way.
Both Italian models.
I know he's in his sort of brother's shadows, as I mentioned before, but I think that's one thing he's got going for him at the moment.
Shouldn't be allowed.
He just needs
to show us mere mortals.
Maybe if you put him in Sturmy's place, I wonder if they'd notice. Are they that similar in their game?
In their game?
Yeah. I mean, Hal's got some pretty good aim. I guess you haven't got the breadth of experience, but maybe the similarities.
I could see it working.
Maybe they could get a podium finish with him. I don't know. But
it's like swapping mustard and ketchup for the day, isn't it?
yeah, on the side of Notofast in that game, that was actually Tox top fragging. So, and there was a lot of mention earlier on that, is Tox going to be feeling comfortable after what was slightly disappointing for him yesterday? Obviously, frags don't say the whole story, but if he is getting the frags in,
well, yeah, I mean, he's always been, like, he's obviously a great jeweler, particularly in Quake 4, but in Quake 3, he's far more known for his team achievements, and he's a monster in these situations.
And I know that he just enjoys playing the team games a lot more now.
Burial Chamber.
Yep, this is Euronics Gaming's pick.
It can go two ways, which is, again, a very obvious statement, but...
It's a game of two halves.
Yes, it's a game of two halves. But what I mean by that is this map is extremely open, and you can cause chaos. You can't get set as easily or really at all compared to the previous map. You can cause that chaos, which does suit Euronics, but at the same time, it's an extremely aim-heavy map, which Euronics have a lot of, but so do Notofast.
No, I think that the point as well, closer to the heavy armor, I expected that to be much more favorable in terms of where you defend from, because you've got the high ground within the base, and you've got the walls around you. But I remember watching Rush B versus Defendants. Rush B was still able to pull off a lot of spectacular attacks, even though they had what would be regarded as a slightly weaker point to defend themselves.
It really depends on the team. Like, I know, for instance, Maestro, when they have to play this map, they would prefer that because you can try and consolidate that advantage. But at the same time, when you're stuck in that little kind of room area, you can't really judge what's coming into you. And if you get into that room and it just goes, it's anyone's game at that point. Yeah,
no, completely. I wonder, though, if we can actually get something from Euronics Gaming to show us even more of what they're able to do.
I would love to see.
Kilson bottom fragged on his team last time round.
There we go.
Now, we expected him to beast it up a little bit and be one of the heavy fragging powers.
I think he should be on this map.
What I think is amazing, though, is that we are seeing some good fragging, and again, the ability from Phoenix with Scalebearer. These guys who I think Absol, this is his second LAN ever. He was at an Eindhoven LAN, which was back in 2012 or something like that, and that was the last time he did it.
You're like the Wikipedia of Quake.
And he's so, the amount of times I've seen him hitting like 90% rail in the CTF game for sort of the first 5 minutes, it's just absolutely staggering. And it's great to see that these guys are able to deliver here to some extent.
They're obviously not phased at all, as I said earlier. Practice wasn't going well. Put them on the main stage, it seems they're rising to it, and that's exactly what you want to see.
Now, another point is that these champion picks, you think, okay, Scalebearer, I'll just keep using that point for the time being. You pick him and say, this could be really good for when the soul spawns at the beginning, or it could be really good for when one of us captures the soul, and then I can scale, I can scale out. Bull rush. I can bull rush into it and take the soul home. It's like, okay, great, those are two very specific circumstances in which that champion is going to be good at.
Yes.
Now, what's it going to be bad at? And then what other champions, what can they do more of, if that makes sense?
I mean, the general play, I feel they're all relatively even, and there are ways you need to look at it, but it is those defining moments that wins games, and if you can execute that tactic particularly well, for instance, on this map, if you're going to bull rush up the whatever it's called, the Bridge of Glory, where the power-up spawns, that's a particularly effective tactic. What's going to stop you if you come charging through at 300 miles an hour?
No, indeed.
Requires time.
Just get the damage onto him. Just stop him.
Look at him
somehow.
He's a machine. Look.
Absolute machine. Get up to 200, 125.
Like that one day.
Pardon? You aspired?
Yeah, it's like if you crossed me and Vu.
Where does Vu come into this?
The boldness.
Oh, right, okay.
Just baldness.
I see. I
apologise, Vu.
Are you going to go cosplaying a little bit? Maybe you could get a good sort of skill there going. Yeah, I think so.
So should we start to donate ZSX to QuakeCon?
I think I'd maybe be a good...
Would you pay for that?
Pardon?
Would you pay for me to do cosplay at QuakeCon?
Would I pay?
Yeah.
No.
Why?
I mean, I would be happy to, and I might enter a charity raffle for it, but I'm not going to pay you for it. Maybe I could do a good Slash cosplay, do you think?
You?
Or maybe I'm a bit too tall for that.
I'm trying to think of all the champions. What would you be?
I mean, hopefully not Slash. Hopefully something more like, a visor.
You'd be a really ugly Slash, I'm sorry to say.
An ugly Slash? I mean, granted, I probably wouldn't want
to see you dress as... No, that's just not an image.
I'll go with visor. That's a bit more rugged.
Sorlag?
I've been...
I could see you as a Sorlag.
I've been doing sit-ups in the morning now as well. Sore lag.
Yeah.
No.
Sit-ups in the morning. Sit-ups and badminton.
Only like
Don't strain yourself.
3 or 4.
3 or 4 sit-ups.
Yeah, something like that.
That called coughing or something.
All right, guys, we're going to be getting into the game in about we've got in just a minute. I think they're going to be picking through their champions relatively soon.
I'm telling you, this is Notofast. They are all so, like, Sturmy is like, oh, there's a fly on my screen, I can't aim. They are so particular about their setups, it's almost infuriating.
Finicky, these tiny little details that they need to get.
I'm a Simon Blade here, I don't know actually what's going on, but I'm gonna. I
was actually very surprised how not phased by the setup. I kind of adjusted to the computer fairly well. It wasn't the setup that I found was a change, it was just the environment around me.
Yeah.
I found that, I put the mouse pad, okay, great, the mouse pad's in the position I like it, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, why are there people everywhere?
They're so particular. Oh, we're in,
crazy.
Nice.
That's it, guys. We're getting started on map 2 between Notofast and Euronics Gaming on Faz to start with on Zorlag.
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 I'm hearing Zorlag. I think that's what Paul could say.
All right.
We took a heap of damage up at the beginning. We've got 5 seconds until that soul spawns, and we've got the Nyx ready and waiting. Oh, we got double Nyx. Who the hell picked it up just then?
Yeah, that's obviously their standard tactic for pretty much all power-ups / soul, is just to have Sturmy go and try and invis it up while everyone else defends the outside.
They were trying to mimic that strategy, though, I think. But it works out very nicely for Euronics Gaming. They managed to get their point first, and I think they decided to go to this point to begin with because they knew that there were fewer enemies there.
Yeah, and this point is very good at bunkering down out, particularly with the rail game. I've played many sacrifice games where the opponent has 3-4 rails. I even played Notofast, and you just can't get in because they're just picking you off as you're coming in. It's so frustrating.
Oh, that was a clean run there by Noctis to get himself back. And a lot of pressure though. Immediately, Euronics Gaming are there. There's 3 of them at the doors to the base, and they're going for it.
They just that's exactly. They all backed off to obviously you know we're going to go. Let's just go wait for you there.
Nice jumps here from Kelson. He's going to get the Mega, which is going to steady him off a bit. He throws it just in case, but that is Faz grabs it just in time, and that rocket jump. Look at the movement as well.
That is one fast lizard.
And that's what you got when you've got such a stack with Zorlag. You can only exceed your speed cap if you are propelling yourself with rockets, and that's exactly what he decided to do. So just as it looked like Euronics Gaming were going to get back to the point, 5 seconds later, it's back to Notofast.
But you can see how chaotic it is, and this definitely favors Euronics.
You think Euronics would? Do you think they'd take a map on this? Or
I wouldn't see why not from the beginning. They seem slightly more comfortable so far, and double Nyx.
What on earth
this time?
He got a double one.
How is that?
I don't even know how he managed that, unless a Phoenix decided to go through the teleporter on the other side of the map, because that's where it takes you to.
You're completely right.
That is unbelievable that they managed to do that. But Sturmy's just gonna be like, oh great, I got the protection.
And this is the problem now: is how do you stop fully stacked Notofast and a battle suit?
Battle suit.
Battle suit.
Well, we got 50% already, and it takes 2.5 minutes in total to get to that 100%. The power-up is gone, so right now, Euronics Gaming have only got the players to worry about, none of the power-ups.
So yeah, this point A is where we were talking about earlier, where it's very hard to push into because of the close combat nature that you can do a lot of damage as people try to come through those doorways.
Kelson trying to make a play, get rid of that Anarchy. Injection going to be used by Noctis, and not even able to take him down. It's going to be all of the Euronics players going down eventually. Absol gets a machine gun frag, but he's in there on his own. He hasn't got a teammate nearby. I don't know how he's going to survive here. He's getting the dual wield out, and he's actually doing a remarkable amount of damage. Not a single frag, but they all would be relatively low at this stage.
That's sometimes enough if you have them 3, as we see now. You've got 2 or 3 following up. Abzo pretty much single-handedly won them this soul.
Well, let's see if we can do it, because it's crunch time at the moment. 15% remaining for Notofast. He's got a teammate with him, Mastermind. Ooh, nice snazzy jump, but that is a great rail, actually. It is pretty challenging to hit Anarchy when he is twisting and turning in the air. But look at that, Noctis. He's going to be crouch sliding back to base.
The great thing about using a Slash and an Anarchy is that you suddenly have 2 exceptionally powerful runners, and not a lot of teams can play Slash well, so
Oh, the Knicks just out of time. Protection is on, but there is well, the Gaunt's only going to do a limited amount of damage. And the thing is, it's going to Notofast. I do not see a single way for Euronics game to take the round.
Buy time while this Battlesuit is up.
He's trying his best at the moment. Anarchy, he manages to get out. Is there any rails to worry about? No, he's got to try and juke the opposing team. And oh, he's going up the bounce pad. Very brave, but actually the throw is good. If there's a teammate there, there is.
Fox taking it in for the win.
Now, I think that was a bit of a desperate move. It's like, I'm going to throw it this direction because there's literally nothing else I can do. I'm about to die. And the teammates are like, well, we're not there. Well, we can't support you in this instance. And that's just showing that there's a bit better coordination from Notofast, and maybe even a little panic from Euronics Gaming.
I think a bit of both. It was that was a beating at the end. It was such a promising start.
It was. That's the thing. It started off great, but even when we saw that Fast sneaking in with the Solag, and getting it back before the Soul could return for the second time,
we saw the differences in aim. We saw the differences in coordination. I spoke to Maestro this morning about these types of maps, and they were telling me how this map in particular would be definitely favoured for Notofast. So it's still not a surprise that they did so well.
And we are going to get the Soul up in just a moment, actually. Let's see how the setup's going to pan out. 3 seconds remaining. Mastermind trying to get an upper, and we've got the Knicks. They're going to be hugging each other, and Kilson this time, he's going to win the battle.
Surely one that you know what's going to happen. Just sit back and spam it. I don't know.
So, what I find interesting is they're going to this point again. It didn't work out very well for them last time, and I feel that they're going there because the enemies are on the other side. It might just be worth finding a way to battle and get to that side of the map, because they clearly were having a much easier time defending on that point.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that Euronics would have an easier time defending, because it does take a different play style to defend that room. Again, that's the more TDM oriented room where you can have certain positions with your rockets, etc. Whereas the other point is extremely rail heavy, which definitely favors Euronics.
Oh, got a little bit of a plasma trail to watch
Just
out.
can't get there.
No, that's it. Now, this time they're looking to get it back to the point for the second time, which is something they failed to really do much of beforehand. He's got a rail in. There's a bit of support from Kilson, and he's going to get it back onto the point nicely. And maybe we'll see a little bit more success from them now. Now, Kilson, we haven't seen loads of him, to be fair. We've seen bits and bobs of every player, but he's kind of been sitting on the sideline, so I wonder if we'll see some good effects from him. He's usually been that Knicks guy who's been basically challenging against Sturmy to see if they can get those Ghost Walk runs done well.
So now they have a relatively solid setup. They're all there. They all should have a decent level of health, armor, weapons. It will be tough now.
The thing you've got to worry about, the rail spawns outside of this room. So although it's quite open and you can defend with the rail, you can also attack with it as well.
For sure. And that's what you need to do. You need to hit 1 or 2 rails and then coordinate a rush in. Perhaps using a Sorlag or a Slash to get in fast.
We've got power up in a moment. I think that's Kilson setting up. He's even going to be able to get the quad, in fact. So risky when it is a quad. And I think that's Sturmy just managing to take him down right at the bottom. So he finds the health bubbles, and that's actually massive, massive help for him. He's going to be looking to, well, attack's already been made, in fact. Brilliant shot.
So much damage.
He'll find it though. Next misses a little bit. He's going to be able to find the opponent.
He throws it off.
Wow, okay, so that means that it should respawn in mid in a few moments. And that is actually Noctis who's going to grab it.
Yes, so it's a great tactic, because if you're not set up to get it out, you're just going to die and get a return. So just chuck it out, get it back into mid, reset the game.
I think the plasma, Toxic actually just got a plasma kill.
That ability.
Plasma trail kill.
Jeez.
I think, how's he going to get out? Oh, he managed to get the kill on Toxic. That's big, but he's got opponents everywhere. Sturmy is going to be able to grab him. So he's just looking for some information from his teammates. They're like, sorry, beings, we can't help you right now. You've got to survive on your own. We're 7 HP. That's, well, good luck.
Yeah, I think you're right in that Euronics should have taken a shot to try and get to point A, because, as we can see now, when Notofast are defending here, it's just so difficult for Euronics to do anything.
But it's so comfortable set up in their positions. But this is a fair enough from Kilson. He's done really well. Nice. Sturmy was a little bit slow to support his teammate. He's like, oh, don't worry, mate, you've got it covered. Oh, you don't?
You don't, no. We've got 30 seconds to the power up.
Well, we're definitely going to be seeing that.
Looks like they're taking it back now, actually.
Let's have a look. Well, I think they're trying to get on the point.
It might be that they just wait another 25 seconds, and by waiting for the power up, they either force Notofast out or they get to take it for free. So either way, it's a win-win.
They need to get to the point, to the power up almost on their way back. Well, actually, 10 seconds. They've actually got back a lot faster. I thought they might have some more obstacles in their way. And now straight away to the power-up. Almost let them do that. Just get over to the power-up at the moment. It's so important. It's like, oh, no, Chris has got it. Doesn't matter. Power-up is important. Got the pummel out.
Protect
wow.
again.
Okay, that was, yeah, Sturmy once more. And it's very nice when you get the protection, all of a sudden you can breathe a sigh of relief, you can survive for a little longer, and here comes the attack. Just as they tied up the percentages, Sturmy, he's going to be grabbing the soul. There's a lot of pummels coming towards him because it's actually such an effective use of damage.
Oh, tried to telefrag him.
Wow, okay, he's even managed to get the soul out and the protection on himself. Look at the damage. They were all focusing him, and Faz has got it, but it's like, oh guys, where's the soul gone? It's back on their point. God damn it.
Tunnel vision, pummel, scary lizard.
That's it. Well, you tend to look at the power-up thing. Let's focus on that. That's the game. But it's actually the objective. You want the soul. That is exactly what you're trying to go for.
But LeBron managed to throw the soul well far away.
What kind of defense are we going to be able to see here from Mastermind? We've got a plasma shot to worry about, but it's not covering too much ground.
I love that attack, actually, and it hasn't worked yet. But the slash charging in with the plasma trail just zones out the entire enemy team and allows your team to follow up. And that's what they've been looking to do, but not successful.
Yeah, and of course, Tox's role from his Quake 4 background is going to be an absolute god at using that crouch sliding. A bit of an attack there. That was actually very decent from Phoenix. As he passed it back to a teammate? No, he's passed it to an enemy instead. And they could essentially play beach volleyball with that soul.
Managed to work out.
And an attack straight away. Look at Tox, he's just trying to get that plasma trail working somehow. He doesn't quite get the soul back. And we're looking for some stack on someone who can defend that soul.
Yeah, and you can see them almost working in pairs. Tox normally leads the way, and then Faz and Sturmy tagging along together, and Noctis following at the end. So it's just some pretty remarkable coordination a lot of the time.
Which is nice, but there's 25% behind Euronics Gaming. We did see an advantage in Euronics Gaming on Lockbox, but they lost it in the end. Let's see with that power-up happening. It is Kelson. He manages to get the pummel onto Sturmy, and they've got the protection. This should be a strong attack, and actually, this is at such an important point in the game.
I think Notofast needs to stack this and sit back now. They really shouldn't be pushing in, and they're not, which is extremely smart.
Kelson, let's see all the run back. He's got a pummel to worry about. It's so much damage against him. He's found the Vega. Wow, what a savior that is. And Noctis goes down. He gets the point back. He's got about 5 seconds left on his protection. And where there's enemies, he needs his teammates to support him. He's the only person in base. And that soul's going to get chucked away. This is actually pretty devastating, but Phoenix is back to return it. Look at the Anarchy. He's just closing in with the gauntlet, and there's panic stations for the Ranger, who's a little bit slower on the movement.
Yeah, great interception by Ranger. That's a tactic that's often not discussed and overlooked. Nice round. Is that interception positioning, which is obviously crucial.
Now, if you don't know much about Phoenix, he was actually one of the best, if not the best, CTF defender in all of Quake Live. Guy was just an absolute monster, and with a team with good coordination, it just worked out so nicely for him. And almost managing to secure the win on this round with that defense.
So much chaos.
Can he bring it back before he dies from any of that acid? I think he barely survived with 5 health. Yeah. And they got it. We actually see a round win for another team.
Have a game on.
And is that the first game we've had
2-1?
Not 2-0, 2-0? Yeah, okay.
That's one of the day.
So, well, they've got the chance to tie up the maps at least, but
that would be remarkable. I'd love that.
That would be really good. Euronics Gaming having a very nice performance there. I wonder if they can do it once more, because otherwise they are going to be dropping down to the loser bracket in this. Mastermind on camera first. Looks like he won't be on camera for long. And he's not going to he decides not to use his injection straight away.
Would you have used it?
I would hope to respawn to get to the soul in time and then have it to work with.
That makes sense.
But it is going to be Phoenix.
And now they're changing Obelisk.
This might be really good for them, actually, because I know they would have struggled defending the point beforehand. But no, that's your teammate. Be nice. I know you want to frag everything that moves, but he's trying to help you. No, actually, I like this position from Phoenix that he's taking. It's like, this is a dire-orbing case. You need to have that mid-presence. You can't all stay in the base, because otherwise you've got no information.
Yeah, it's true, you do. It's also very risky, because if they just rush you, then you're extremely exposed. And you can see the patience from Notofast. They're not pushing in one by one. This is exactly the way you need to attack this point.
But you're also thinking at the same time that percentage is slowly ticking up. We need to get there soon.
That's the risk reward. If you just have to coordinate attack, it's better than giving it up and having to reset again and then you waste another 20%.
They did fairly well to get it. I think there was basically a 2-man attack that managed to do it, but Abso done very well. The rail misses him. That's actually an important shot to miss.
He doesn't miss twice, Hold Sturmy.
Yeah, that'll be payback, and it's going to be Tox with the slash. Good timing from Mastermind to turn up with the attack. He is going to manage to kill Mastermind and pass it to a teammate, but a lot of them are so weak. There's the Blazkowicz. Abso trying to get some damage down, but Noctis will eventually manage to kill him. Rockets, they've passed the soul to the point, but you can't throw it on the point. You've got to walk over it, holding the soul.
Technicalities.
Oh, that's absolutely it. Otherwise, you just it's like goalposts, and you can just throw it in.
Golf.
Some weird bloodthirst version.
Completely forgot about the power-up. It's only a quad which is lucky.
That's flustering. They normally never forget about that. They are so meticulous at ensuring that they're present everywhere, but it's not happened.
Exactly, because remember, it's all timing by yourself. So
Mastermind's got it. He really needs support from a teammate. He needs to get to that mega as quickly as possible for some kind of security. Now he's waiting for the teammates. Where's safe? Tell me what to do. He chucks the soul away. He's got a teammate, but he's following him. And he let the Anarchy just sneak in behind him. Maybe that was just a minor detail lacking in the communication that made that happen.
Yeah, but big error.
And we're finally seeing a few more percentage points on Notofast's point.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get rid of all those opponents that are attacking. The soul has to be taken off the obelisk for just a moment. And
They should have
3 of them attacking.
Nice, yeah.
It's decent. Phoenix has been given it, but no. Oh, he's been railed. Soul still on the obelisk, but are there any Euronics Gaming players left? No, Sturmy's going to be able to come back, and they're going to have to re-coordinate that attack. And they're going to want to do it very soon, because that power-up is going to be spawning in about 35 seconds approximately.
This is why it's so tough. When you have someone of Sturmy caliber just sitting at the back, hitting 3 rails in a row, anyone that tries to come near is almost going to take 90 damage.
And this is his favorite thing in the world, just being able to zoom in.
This is what he was born to do. I think he plays more time in zooming out of it.
And this is absolutely perfect.
Even though it's
missed way too much.
This is what, that's worrying. But this is what Euronics needs to do. They needed to sit back a bit, and I think they were just waiting for the power up now.
Yeah.
But here's Chris Sturmy.
Sturmy's on it. We've got Nick Battles. He did manage. He's going to bring it back to base as well. He's only got 28 health. If there's any support, the soul actually has been taken by Abso. Maybe trying to throw it off the edge. That could have actually been quite helpful if he even walked off.
Yeah, he probably should have, but hindsight 2020.
That's
all that jazz.
And how long? We've got about 10 seconds remaining on this power-up. And as soon as that goes, Euronics Gaming, they are going to launch themselves at it. We've got 4 players very close, in fact. And Sturmy, all of a sudden, he's vulnerable. But we need him to do something. Mastermind, he's going to go down to the pummel as well. He had to be there to kill Sturmy. He's been alive for God knows how long.
I just had a woohoo from Sturmy after that.
And here they come again. Coordination, I've got to say, fair enough, Euronics.
Yeah.
He's been doing a great job at it, but the defense is so good.
Now. It's getting desperate as it's
very desperate.
They really have the chance for one more big attack.
Otherwise, they're just going to be sort of clawing away at getting onto the point and preventing them from getting that 100 from 99. I think he managed to throw it away and throw it back. And away. And, oh, still away.
What is going on?
And Noctis manages to get the return. Still, there's a lot to defend against, and this could be it, actually.
This is it, yeah.
Pivotal prime.
That they need. 90%.
Is there an opponent there? Where did the soul manage to fall off to? Faz got it, though. He's going to return underneath and try and throw it up. Oh, he's missed it at the top, and he's died. Have they figured out where the soul is? Oh, no, it's going to be Noctis is going to be able to grab it as well. He needs to find a way to throw it through the cracks of the map. But you know what? He's happy to be patient, it looks like. Oh, there's a frag, though. Massive from Phoenix. And with 28%, there's plenty of distance to go until they're really competitive in this last round.
Yeah, they can't afford to now have a bad defense, it will almost certainly be over.
And there's the power-up spawning right this moment. It just got grabbed. Sturmy has it, and he's just picked up health.
Yeah, and it's a protection. Again, he's got exceptionally lucky with these.
He just gets the timing just bang on with the Ghost Walk. And when you're using that strategy and they're both using the same one, I kind of almost preferred what Demon was doing with the Ranger and trying to get that Dire Orb to really be the deciding factor.
I completely agree, because I mean, it ended up working in the end when Euronics were a bit disorganized, but they had the upper hand for the majority of the first couple of rounds anyway.
Okay, that on the 99%, they managed to get something going for them.
Can we see a 99% comeback?
Oof, that would be absolutely huge. We really got no room for errors from Euronics Gaming.
See you later.
Otherwise, they're going to lose. Oh, he saves himself! What a move there by Phoenix. Unfortunately, it's not going to amount to anything. And we've got Noctis just sitting on the top of the obelisk. All right, now I'll try. Time to figure out a way to get out of this base. I'm trying to get that coordination from his teammates. Like, right, where are they? Where can I go to? They're almost going to be camping out their base so that they can just attack.
Euronics all camping the enemy obelisk.
They're all
getting absolutely beaten up.
Has Noctis managed to return with it?
Yeah.
Kilson's got it back though. He's going to be returning again. We've got volleyball simulated between these two teams, and now Noctis, he's got the 100 health, which is good. We've seen so many weak players, but there's an opponent coming right towards him. It's only going to be a Nyx, and he's going to go down to the lower areas of the map. Vulnerable to a rail. There's a player right in front of him. Oh, he can't do it, but I think there was a teammate behind him somewhere. Oh no, is he taken by Sturmy? He would have fragged the supporting player.
Still tough to get back. He's weak.
The Dire Orb, what a play. Just as it was being thrown, he decided, I'm going to Dire Orb to it. I absolutely love that move. And now Mastermind, he's got the Anarchy. Surely he can get somewhere. No. He's got an injection, he's got it, and he's managed to get the armor as well. Now Noctis trying to fight, but he's struggling at the same time. And he's going to go down to Phoenix. Now Sorlag, tanky champion. This is absolute chaos. And I think they got it on there. Have they got any players to support? They managed to get the soul again, in fact.
That's GG.
But that's it. Are there any players anywhere? It looks like that's going to be a no. No Too Fast win their first round game here in the Quake World Championship Sacrifice Regionals.
I mean, if I was Euronics, I'd actually be feeling quite good.
Yeah.
I spoke with Abso this morning. I was like, how you feeling? How's it going? He's like, not too great. I was like, what's wrong?
Really?
He goes, yeah, I got a death loss incoming. Those were his words. Like, that's
no way to look at it.
But that's the attitude. Like, everyone knows the caliber of Notofast. They've obviously scrimmed against them, practiced against them a lot, and they were resigned to the fact they were going to get their asses handed to them, and to take a round off them, and to put them on the edge for numerous other occasions. I would be relatively happy. Whenever they got set, obviously we saw when they got set in their defensive, like they're almost immovable. They're just immovable objects. But when you can create chaos, you can see the vulnerabilities. There are cracks in their armor.
Yeah, definitely. But I think the coordination bodes very, very well for Euronics Gaming. So we'll find out what's going to be happening on that end. But for now, we're going to chuck it back over to the analyst desk and see what they make of that match.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Yes, indeed, Notofast getting the 2-0. But just to kind of touch on what our casters mentioned, still, you know, when you look at the opposing side, Euronics Gaming, they did at least manage to take a round, which in the first map wasn't happening, let's be honest. Let's talk a little bit more about that game number one.
Yeah, not at all. It's a shame because they did get completely demolished in the first one. But what I love about the second one is that with Euronics, you saw a lot of their strategies coming into place. So when they're on